Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make today is cookies. But we're going to make actually Italian, well, it's a sugar cookie. You could really consider it probably a shortbread cookie. And we make them around Easter. You can make them any time of the year. They're great tasting cookies. You can add all types of little garnishes on them. You can put sprinkles on them. You can put chocolate chips in them. You can put nuts in them. You can really, change up the recipe so many ways because it's a great tasting little cookie. So let's get started. First up, I want to tell you that you want to leave your butter out. You don't want it, in the microwave or anything like that, just at room temperature so that it's more in a softened state. Now, you can use margarine if you prefer, or maybe that's all you have. Butter would be the best, but go ahead and use it, give it a go, and see how you like it with margarine versus butter, okay? And what you're going to do is, I wanted to show you this. You actually need about 13 ounces of butter. Well, somebody maybe doesn't have a scale because now a lot of the recipes are all going to weighing ingredients rather than using measuring cups and things like that, and they're weighing it on a scale. So for those people that weigh their ingredients, you need about 13 ounces. For those that don't have a scale, don't want to use a scale, what it is approximately that I found it to be is 3 full, squares of butter, if you know what I'm talking about. That's about 1.5, that's 1.5 cups, okay? They're the 3 blocks, if you know what I'm talking about. Better yet, let me show you because I don't want to confuse you. Okay. And I just wanted to grab one out of the refrigerator, and this is what I'm talking about. Each one of these square blocks is a 1/2 cup. So you need 3 of them, okay? So that's 1.5 cups. Plus, okay, about a tablespoon, and I left this purposely so not to cut it up with the rest of it. 1 tablespoon and then about a 1/2 tablespoon. So use 3 of those plus 1 tablespoon plus 1/2 tablespoon, okay, in your recipe. I went ahead and cut up the butter because I think it's easier to cream and break it up and save time for the video, okay? And so I'm just going to put that in. It bears repeating. I use three of these plus 1 tablespoon plus 1/2 tablespoon of butter, or if you're using margarine. All right, now I'm going to warn you about the sound of my mixer because it can be loud, so I'll give you a heads up every time I put it on, okay? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, I no longer put the recipe of ingredients below the video, so hopefully if you want to jot that down, you can do so, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn it on. Okay, now normally I wouldn't, put it up at that high of a speed, but I'm moving it along due to the video. Now, by the way, you can use your hand mixer if you prefer, but I have to tell you, this is a pretty large recipe, and it takes actually 6 cups of all-purpose flour. So when it gets into that much, I find the stand-up works best. But you can try the hand mixer. It's really up to you. You use your good judgment, okay? Oh, and I'm sorry, I almost forgot. This is a larger batch. I like to make larger batches because I'm always baking for whether it's a church social or for a party or a holiday or that type of thing. So I like to make a lot of cookies. So this is a larger batch of cookies. So We've already creamed, and take your time on the creaming. If it takes you 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever type of speed, medium is probably best, but whatever type of speed, just so that it's smooth and it's creamy, okay? The next thing that you're gonna put in is 3 cups of powdered sugar, okay? 3 cups of powdered sugar. All right, so I'm gonna put that in just a little at a time and low speed so it doesn't go all over me in the kitchen. And that was 3 cups. Okay, now another thing that you're going to be putting in let me turn that off, and I forgot but you're going to put in 6 egg yolks, okay? So I'm going to use my butter bowl here, and I'm going to just quickly get the egg yolks out of there. Okay, sorry about this. Something came up earlier before the video, and I guess I forgot due to that, so I apologize for that. Okay, that's 3. Okay, and this is 4. And this is 5 coming up. 5 and 6. And these are really, I would say, medium size eggs. I notice it tends to change a little bit at my grocers. Sometimes they look more large than medium, but use 6, okay? All right, and again, I apologize for that. I'm usually quite prepared. And then I'm just going to take a fork. You don't have to, but I'm just going to mix them in, beat them a little bit in the 6 in my little butter bowl that I had. And now we're going to add those 6 egg yolks, and I'm going to put them all in at one time. Okay. And now I'm going to beat it together, so I'll warn you about the sound. Now, really stay with this. You want to spend another 2 or maybe 3 minutes to really cream it with your egg yolks. I'm going to put it on just for another second. Okay. And the next thing that we're going to be putting in is milk. And you are going to be needing about 10 tablespoons of milk, okay? And then just beat that in a little at a time. And then I'm going to make sure and kind of clean the sides of my mixing bowl here a little bit and get to the bottom, because it tends to really stick there. So I'm going to warn you, put it on again. Turn it up to a higher speed for a few seconds. flashed here a little bit. Today is the day everything seems like something is going wrong. Okay, here we go. We've got 6 cups of all-purpose flour in my bowl. I'm also going to be putting in 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. 1½ teaspoons. And put in about 3 pinches of salt in that. And I'm just going to give it a quick little stir here with my little whisk. You don't have to be fussy with it. Okay. And I'm going to grab a measuring cup here and start putting in this flour mixture on low till it's all combined. And watch your speed so it doesn't go all over you. Do it at a little at a time. You don't want to overbeat these cookies, but you want them well combined. You're also putting a little at a time because you don't want to get, again, flour all over you in your kitchen. And again, I like to put in, just about a cup or so, a little bit more, just to get it going. Okay, and now I'm going to put the rest of the flour in. Put that bowl aside. And the last thing I'm going to put in is 1½ teaspoon of vanilla. And let's bring it all together till it forms a cookie dough ball. Now, you can hear that even at the highest speed, my mixer is lagging a little bit. So, this is a heavier dough. Again, if you're using that hand mixer, well, I definitely, got to caution you because you can, I don't know if you can hear, and I know I'm sorry my mixer comes out very loud on your end, but it's lagging because of the quantity and the weight. Okay, and I generally stick with it till it basically starts to clean the mixing bowl, that you know that everything's well combined. And you can kind of see what the batter is. It's not a real sticky batter, but it is a heavier batter because of all that, that butter. Okay, I'm going to take as much off on my paddle as I can because I always say this and it bears repeating. I hate to waste product because product is so expensive now to bake, yet it's so enjoyable to bake. Your house, your kitchen smells so good. It can be an activity with children and grandchildren. So baking is, well, for me, that's why I named it Love to Bake, because I do love to bake. And now I'm just going to clean the sides. Take a look at that bottom where it tends to stick, on in these bowls. But you can see a very large amount of dough that you're going to get, cookie dough that you're going to get, okay? So I'm going to push that aside, and I've got my pan ready with parchment paper. You can use your silicone mats if you prefer, that kind of thing. I like to use my scoop. This is the size I'm using. It's about 2 tablespoons. If you don't, you can drop them down with a spoon. You can actually put this in a pastry bag if you want with a star tip, but I have to warn you, if it I wouldn't put it in the fridge because it makes it too hard to squeeze everything out of that bag, pastry bag, okay? And then you actually just plop them down on your parchment paper, okay? And you can actually roll them in, whoops. I'm going to put some colored jimmies in here. And again, you can use whatever type of confetti or jimmies that you want to use. And then I just basically just kind of plop them in and roll them on the sides. I tend not to put try to get it on the bottom because I always worry that the confettis will burn. So I try to leave a little bit of the bottom without them. Let's do another one, and they are going to spread a little bit. So, you know, keep them at least an inch apart, that type of thing. But again, what's nice is, like I said, you can put whatever type of colored jimmies that you like. This is the time where you would just place your nuts, because if you're going to use a pastry bag, there's no way you're probably going to get nuts, chopped nuts, or chocolate chips in. So when I do the chocolate chips, I actually just lay, you know, 2 or 3, or use the minis, and you use your good judgment, and just, you know, put them in when I put them down, or, you know, your cup of your chopped nuts. I would say more of a medium to fine chopped nuts, and you can just put them on, push them in a little bit on the side. Now, this is going to make a large recipe, and you are going to get about 60 cookies. You could get more, of course, depending on the size of the scoop. If you go larger, of course, you're going to get less cookies, and you're going to have to bake, you know, your baking time. It's going to have to be adjusted. Generally, at this size, I find it's anywhere from 13 to 17 minutes, and at 350 degrees. And you know, all our ovens set up so differently, so I really start watching mine at about 11 minutes or so. And also, if you're doing double trays, remember to keep rotating them. And there's just sometimes I prefer not to even bake 2 trays at a time. I only like to do 1 because I think they come out, they just come out better. But if you're in a hurry or a rush, you know, you can do the 2 trays, but rotate and check your cookies to see how they're coming along, okay? So I'm going to rinse my hands real quick because I was working with raw egg yolks. And I want to show you what they look like when they come out. I'm going to grab a clean towel here for my hands. Okay, and this is how they come out with the colored jimmies, as you can see. They'll have a nice kind of a light golden brown on the bottom. You'll want to look for that. On the baking on this cookie, I generally check more of the bottom to try to see it. Or I actually take one, you know, and cut it in half, that kind of thing, if I'm really unsure, okay? And here's one that I made larger cookie to show you versus the other, okay? So you can make them whatever size you want, but alter your time, okay? And now I'm just gonna break one apart. Now, they will have a firm bottom and a firm top on them. On the inside, I would say it's about medium density, the crumb, okay? I'm gonna use a knife here just to try to show you that, you know, the crumb is like a drier cookie. So when you bite into it, it will have a moisture to them, but they're more of a chewy, dry cookie, if you know what I mean. I don't mean they're so dry they're like a rock and you're going to hurt your teeth or anything like that. But it's just designed for it to be that way, the cookie. So they're, you know, they are chewy, they are semi-moist, but they are of a drier texture or density. I would say about medium density for the center, okay? Well, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Again, I'm sorry I don't put the recipe below the video, and I'm not alone on this, and I'm sorry to even bother explaining it, but people write to me and say, well, why don't you explain? Well, I'm explaining that I got really tired of people. I saw my work on other sites where it was posted, pinned, claimed as theirs, and they had questions for me, and I couldn't answer, and it became so frustrating that it wasn't worth it anymore. So if you do want to write and tell me how the recipe turned out, or you have a question or a comment, if you do that on YouTube and watch me on YouTube, because that's the only place I put my videos is on YouTube, I'm going to get your question, I'm going to get your comment, and I will answer in a timely fashion. And you know, I want to thank almost my 24,000 subscribers that took the time to subscribe to Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. So I can't thank you enough. For anyone that's just watched the video, even watched it for a few minutes, I can't thank you enough. If you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe, well, I can't thank you enough. Or ring the bell. So, thanks again for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.